My name is Max Escobar.
I'm Janeida, y esto es Otro Nivel podcast.
Today, we're in Mexico, first of all, right? We're in Polanco. This episode is pretty special because the person next to me is the CMO of Audiomack. He's actually the reason why I'm here.
Me too.
Why G's here. We're here with David Ponte.
Muy especial. Episodio. It's great. I'm glad I finally was able to get on this podcast. It was, what is it, like the 15th or 20th or 50th episode?
I think we're in 30. Yeah, we're almost in the 40.
So finally, I made it up in the queue, and now it's my turn to talk some music biz and music with y'all.
Yeah, definitely. I want to go back, Pani, to the starts of Audiomack, right? How does Audiomack, I mean, obviously you told me, in one of our high sessions, how does Audiomack start?
Audiomack starts, really, it was a combination of myself and Dave Mackley, who's the CEO and co-founder as well.
Shout out to Mackley.
We were co-workers at a software company, ad sales software company, in operations. And we're friends. We're both paisans, Italianos, around the same age, and very passionate about music and hip hop. Dave was running DJBooth.net, which is a popular hip hop blog that is essentially merged with Audiomack at this point. Yeah. And that's what you see Audiomack World as in the app, the editorial section of the Audiomack app. And really, we would just, talk shit, talk about hip hop, talk about music, what new songs do you like? This was around probably 2008, 2009. And really, he would see me going on music blogs because that was sort of the golden age of what's called the blog era. And we would, talk about what music came out, and I would go on all these different blogs, all these different sites. There wasn't really much of a social media. Twitter just started in 29. And that's how you've discovered music. And it was a great way to discover music, but it was laborious. You'd have to really work or virtually crate dig to find music. And he would always come over, and we sit near each other at this job, and he would be like, "Why are you on all my competitor sites?" And I go, I want to find everything that came out today. DJ Booth is only going to cover a certain amount of music. So, my dream was to be able to find all the music that came out today in one place, which didn't exist. Spotify was not around, or definitely not in the US at that point. And it was the Napster, LimeWire era was over. So this was the blog era in between those two other eras. And I was trying to solve a problem. And Dave was like, we could do we could do that pretty easily. I know a guy who's our CTO, Ty, that helps me with DJ Booth, he said. And he's like, it's pretty easy just to be able to upload and download files. And he's like, essentially, we could just take all the songs that are uploaded and put them in the order of what came out. And we could even rank them based on how popular they are. I was like, that's amazing. I would love to have that. So the short answer is solving a problem that we had. That's any entrepreneur would tell you some version of. And if you're not solving a problem as an entrepreneur, it's probably going to fail.
Super interesting when you think about it that way.
Yeah.
Every company is built off of a problem.
Yeah. And this is the thing, right? Audiomack starts building, you start uploading more music. Artists like Chance the Rapper uploaded, their mixtape Acid Rap, J. Cole as well. When did you start seeing that transition in Audiomack, where you was like, you know what, this might be a business I could live off?
Around 2014, 2015, and the milestone that occurred then was when we made the apps.
Mm-hmm.
It was really, I believe, December and January. We released them pretty much 1 month of each other,
Mm-hmm.
Apple and Android, that is. And obviously, people like to use apps over a mobile website. That was around that time when you saw a lot of desktop traffic, like
Mm-hmm.
laptop traffic, shrinking, and then mobile traffic raising really fast. So, we wanted to be part of that, obviously, and made the apps. It's a much better way to listen to music. And these days, you would never think about using mobile web, at least on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So that was really the key point. And at the time, I was working for another company in the mobile programmatic ad space, and it just got bought. So I was basically like waiting till that like was finalized because I was one of the earlier employees there, and
Mm-hmm.
I was going to get compensated for being one of the early employees,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to wait till a certain date. So like the day after I left, but we ended up using my old company at Audiomack and generated millions of dollars for them. So I don't think it was a bad deal for them all that I left.
Yeah.
So when was that turning point from artists uploading their own music to actually having these deals with distributors?
We started getting deals pretty early on. And I remember like Empire, distribution was one of the early partners, Foundation Media, one of the early partners that saw the vision. And I think we both benefited greatly from those partnerships. And we started to do major label deals. It takes a while to do those deals. And you want to make sure you get the best deal for not only yourself, but for the artists, and everyone involved in that. So that was like a couple of years ago. We started to get a couple of those coming in. And then, last year we have all the major labels in the US and working towards getting them in Mexico and other places around the world.
I remember the first day I walked into Audiomack, right?
So what year was this?
2018. It was like 2018, early 2018,
Okay.
right? And I walk in.
So was it the winter?
So it was summer. I think it was like
Oh.
summer.
Okay.
If I'm not mistaken.
So I was thinking if it was winter, you'd have Timberlands on and a Yankee hat.
Nah. But I walk in, at that time, Audiomack was just 303 and 302, right? And I walk in, I see mostly everybody in that works in Audiomack and from a physical standpoint, like, marketing and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I sit down and everybody is just looking at me. Everybody's just looking at me, and I'm sitting on the couch, and
This is in 302.
302.
Okay,
It was in
yeah,
302.
yeah.
And you come in because you was in the booth at that time, and you sit down and we start talking about Latin, right? Because hip hop has already hitting billions of streams, every month and stuff like that. Why did Audiomack at that particular moment started getting interested about Latin?
I guess there's two reasons. One is that, we have a wealth of data, as you guys know,
Mm-hmm.
that we could look at to curate, that we could look at to see what artists we want to do video content with, to bring on the podcast, to come and visit, do Bless the Booth, do drops for us, etc. Having that information is very valuable. And we saw early on that Latin music was starting to grow very fast, even without us really making a concerted effort to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's similar with Afrobeat. Afrobeats music was another similar situation where we're like, this is starting to get big, and then focus on putting resources there and people there. So that was one. We saw it in the data. Artists, Latin trap movement was really starting to get some steam. Obviously, reggaeton, musica urbana still going strong. And the second is that I love Latin music.
Oh,
So,
That's 100% true.
Yeah, we've been playing it all week here in Mexico.
He's been
and all
DJing, by the way.
Yeah, as usual, I have to. And I say this, I've told this to you all before. Like, I feel like Spanish language is the most conducive to music lyrics. Just the nature of how the language works, it sort of organically rhymes. Whereas in French or like even English and certainly like other languages, it's just not going to sound as smooth to me, like just from a sound standpoint. So I don't think you need to know the language necessarily to love Latin music. I think you could just appreciate the melodies, appreciate, the music. Obviously it's great to dance to, most of it. And, I think you could be, and obviously in America, where Audiomack is headquartered and where we're biggest, a ton of people here speak Spanish, so it just made sense as well to serve those users in the U.S. So those are the two main reasons.
And what, like, you looking at when Audiomack Latin started, right? 302, all of us sitting in that couch to now. Like, how do you see the growth?
Well, I wish we'd grow a lot more.
He's a dude.
Shots fired.
Okay.
But of course, there's no like, that's an insatiable appetite. I'm sure that you have as well.
Yeah.
And Janaida, you as well.
Of course.
We're never satisfied and happy
Mm-hmm.
but we have. I think a couple of the key things that have happened is obviously we're getting a lot of distributors signed up.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting the major label Latin divisions using the platform and their artists engaging the platform. And best of all, my favorite is that as of recently, we have global AMP, Audiomack monetization program available. So any artist of any language can sign up, authenticate their account, and immediately start monetizing their streams. And there's going to be a lot of new things coming out too that's going to help artists make money and grow their bag. But I would say those are a couple of the key milestones. And I think just with music culture in America in general, the blending of English speaking music and Spanish speaking music is well underway. With all the big artists of both, genres and both languages teaming up on songs. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, just as a fan of both, and all the genres that use those languages. So those are a couple of key things. And obviously we have, our YouTube channel, which we have two. We have Audiomack Latin and we have the Audiomack YouTube channel. The biggest video is an artist that Jay Wheeler, and he has
I'm not gonna say anything.
He has more streams than Roddy Ricch Trap Symphony, Burna Boy Trap Symphony, King Von R.I.P. Fine Tunes, all of the amazing video content we make. Yeah, Jay Wheeler, one of the only, at least at that point, one of the only Latin artists, was destroying them in terms of plays. So let's do more video content.
Yes.
And we have one coming out soon, although I'm sure it'll be out already when this video comes out.
Yeah.
Okay, I have a question. You touched from the beginning of the creation of Audiomack how you focused on discovering music. And once you see those deals coming in, it would be easy to steer clear from that and focus more on the algorithm. Why do you stick to the philosophy of discovery?
There has to be a human touch, a human ear to it at some point before an algorithm can figure it out. So there has to be that one person that presses play first. And that's obviously has to be more than one play, but the first few 10,000 plays are the artist friends. They're curators like us who not only have to listen to a lot of music, but want to. And they get excited and they get that feeling that you get when you hear that song that you just know is going to be your favorite song, or that artist that you're like, I'm diving into this catalog now, because you can't describe the feeling. And we want, as curators, we want to help give that feeling to our users who are also early adopters. Our users are tastemakers. They're the first people of their group of friends that tell their friends about a certain song or artist. And of course, the word of mouth recommendation is better than any algorithm is ever going to give you, especially when you're listening it with that person. So and algorithms are fine. We have great algorithms. I think our charts are a great way to show and surface what is popular in that particular region at that particular time in that particular genre. But the way our playlists are and our trending sections are, it's my dream of what we made Audiomack that comes to life, where we pick the best songs that came out of that day and recently. And it's been handpicked and curated so that, you're going to see the best ones that we think are going to be that we want people to discover first. And people, we see in the data, they listen, on Friday, we put up 50, 70, 100 songs just on the global section, let alone the other trending sections for the genres. And people listen to all of them. People love listening to all of them in a row, all genres.
But cutting this part right here, right? Mm-hmm. You're the CMO, but you still are one of the curators of global trending. Like, you don't really have to do that. So what motivates you to still want to do that till this day, trending in global?
Well, it's selfish that I want to do that. No, it is. It is. I mean, our CEO has asked me to do more management things. Yeah. But I it's important, besides just my own selfish need of wanting to hear everything first and again, simulate that feeling that you get when you discover a new song. But, you also, if I'm going to be able to market and help my team market and curate, I have to know what's going on. I have to listen to these songs. I have to hear these sounds and the way that music is shaping up, or else how am I going to market to our audience that is listening to this music as well? I'm not going to do a good job as a marketer unless I could put myself in their shoes.
Yeah, and I wanted to touch on that. You are a leader, so how do you pick the right people to be under your team and work with you?
Well, I'm definitely not perfect at that. Although I think most of the people that come to work for us stay, right? We don't have a lot of turnover here, because I think we create a good culture and a good environment, and that's part of it. It's a culture fit, and I think we have such a diverse team, right? From people from all over the world, all types of ethnicities and just types of people. But I think everyone has a similarity of like just loving and being passionate about music and being excited about it. And I don't think you see that at like other companies, at other streaming services and other labels. Not that, there aren't people that like music there, of course, but I don't think it's everyone, but everyone on the marketing team, especially, but even the whole company, a lot of people tell us, what they think we should curate. Everyone has that passion, and wants to break artists. We want to help those artists grow and to help them get more fans and make more money. And I think we get we're very gratified when we see that happen. And it's happened a lot of times over the years.
Actually, you touched on something that reminded me. I was having a conversation with an artist once, Braithiago, and he did mention one of the things that he loved about Audiomack and when he went to visit the office is the fact that he saw a lot of the employees were Latin. So he loved to see that because he could relate,
It's important. We need people, that actually like are part of that particular culture, whether it be Latin, whether it be people in Mexico, Africa, Europe, England and America, all types of places in America. It's important that you get people that are like actually part of that scene and actually, obviously it helps to have connections and whatnot as well. And yeah, we want artists to feel like that as well. We want it to be diverse and make it feel like, hey, there's people here like me that like fuck with the same things that I do, and artists is gonna appreciate that a lot and work with us a lot more once they see that.
How do you see the growth overall for Audiomack? Like, what do you see happening within the next 12 months?
I'd like to see it grow a lot. Of course, any CMO would say that. I'd like to see it grow in Mexico a lot as well. I love, the week that we've spent here so far. And I think the music here is really, really interesting. It's different than a lot of, than other Latin music, that we have a ton of from Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, and the Miami scene, Colombia, etc. I really think it's very distinct and different here, and I can't wait to get more artists on the platform. So I think that's part of the strategy, is to find those regions where they could benefit from a platform like Audiomack supporting emerging artists. So we see similar things in like East Africa, per se, Tanzania and Kenya, South Africa, Uganda, for example, and in even some countries in Europe where they don't know about Audiomack. They haven't experienced it. The artists don't know that there's a platform where they could grow and they could make money while growing. So I'd like to grow in those particular countries and have strategies in those countries. And of course in the US, I think US where obviously the other big streaming companies have a big market share. I think of course we would love people to only use Audiomack as their only streaming for only podcasts. But realistically, I think we are a companion to those other apps as well. I know people at Audiomack use other streaming services, and I'm not afraid to say that, partly because the curators, you kind of need to see what's going on in other services too to help you curate. But we have so many different features and so many different artists that we highlight, obviously focusing on emerging and new and young artists. Audiomack World, where we have editorial content, video content, exclusive content. And then you're just going to see different music on Audiomack than you would see on some of our competitors, where if Drake comes out with an album, you're going to see only Drake on all the other streaming platforms. And that's great. We love Drake, and we'll have that. But at the same time, people might be tired of that mainstream shit and they want to see the next Drake and see those new emerging artists. The other platforms aren't going to highlight them as much, if at all. And people really, get sick of the same stuff over again. They want to see something new. I mean, that's marketing 101, is give some people something new that they haven't seen before and innovate towards that. So I think if we stick by that strategy, continue to develop the app and with new features and really bringing more value to the artists, which I know we have a lot in store for them in the next 6 months. I think 12 months from now, we're going to see some growth overall on the platform, both from artists and from listeners.
And this is my last question. And I've gotten this asked to me a few times, right? How competitive is Audiomack, like with the landscape? Like, how do we, like when we sit down and we have our marketing meetings, how competitive we, like, of course you want to be number one, right? But like, I think people want to know from you, right? Because you're the CMO, you're the face with the CEO and everything. How competitive are you to be number one in this digital music streaming business?
I'm extremely competitive. It's probably as much as of a curse as it is a gift in some ways. And you have to be in business in general. And even if you're an artist, you have to be competitive too. Although you have to be careful about how you're doing it. You want to be friendly with people, but you also realize that they're your competition. And I think we're the same way with our other competitors. And with music streaming, it's interesting because really anything that you put into your ear is our competitor. You know, if you're listening to a podcast only app, that's our competitor. If you're listening to satellite radio, that's our competitor. If you're listening to obviously on-demand streaming service, our competitor. If you're outside listening to the birds sing, I'd rather you be listening to Audiomack. So, we're going against the biggest companies in the world, literally. And what we have to our advantage is that we're nimble. And we have the ability to actually make those touch points with artists. And I think we make more touch points and we engage with the artists more than any platform, even though they're, much bigger than we are in terms of employees and stuff like that. Every artist that we talk to, whether they're just starting out or whether they're a huge star and we help them get there, they always come to me, and I know they come to you all and other people on our team and say, it was Audiomack that gave me my first 10,000 plays. It was Audiomack that did my first music video, for Rod Wave, who's a big R&B singer from Florida. We did his first video, his first Fine Tuned, and now he's number one on the Billboard charts. Mm-hmm. And artists are generally loyal to us when we know that we were loyal to them in the beginning, and it's reciprocated back and forth. So I think if we just stick with that, we're not like a smoke and mirrors company. Like, we actually bring value to the table. We do what we say we're going to do. And I think in business, that's a good long-term strategy. So I'm not as concerned about trying to be the number one app as I am of just helping our stakeholders, which includes employees, it includes investors, it includes artists, especially, doing right by them and helping them. And then we have a spot in their story, and vice versa. So that's really my goal. But I would say in terms of competition, that we have a similar mindset to Kobe.
There you go.
My final question is, I'm sure a lot of people wonder, it's fairly easy to say Audiomack. I can say in any language. Why the name Audiomack?
Well, in Latin, it's Audiomack, but, or in Spanish, I should say. But that's a good question.
They do say Audiomack too.
Audiomack. Well, that's like a shout out to you. He doesn't correct him. He goes, yeah, the Audiomack. I say that a lot in Jamaica as well, and other parts of the Caribbean. But the name, the origin of the name, actually, it comes from Dave. Obviously, his name's Mackley. He denies that his last name and Audiomack have any relationship. They definitely have some sort of there's some sort of relationship there. And it wasn't we didn't do a huge focus group to figure out the name or anything like that. He just came to me and goes, "What do you think about the name Audiomack?" He's like, you're like Mac and audio. I was like, I don't really understand that, but
Mac and audio.
That's what he said. To Mac some, I don't know. It's like a 90s thing, but Return of the Mac, which is a cool, Mac is a cool guy, I guess. Yeah. And I thought it, my first impression when I heard it was that's cool. So I think that's very important. It wasn't a ton of back and forth, when we doing our campaigns. Yeah. We come up with millions of ideas and then narrow them down until we have what we want to do. This was just one idea, and I was like, that's cool. And then we just went with that. Obviously, at the time, we didn't know that we were going to be a pretty big company, but
so it could have been Audio Ponte.
I mean, I don't think I would even want that. And I certainly doesn't have the best. My name in Spanish, is to put on. Yeah. Which is what we do. So it maybe would work in Mexico here and then other places. But actually, those worked really good. If I think about it.
He's about to trademark it right now.
So that's how the name started. I don't know that many people know that. I may have said that a couple of times, but it's public now. I think that is exclusive. It wasn't a ton of signs, but into it.
I want to, publicly say that, I appreciate the opportunity that you have given me. You have taught me a lot without saying much, because anybody that knows Ponte knows that he doesn't say much, but when he says something, he's going to try to take your head off, right? So everybody knows about the Ponte look, right? So when I tell Ponte, I need 100,000 for this, he looks at me, he's like, yeah, that's not happening. But I think that what you have done, with Audiomack, with giving people the opportunity to work like without having that type of like micromanaging type of feel is something that is big. And what I like about Audiomack's culture that you spoke about a little bit is that we're in the culture for real. Like we're not just here trying to, you know, take out and not put in. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
And that's something that I think a lot of people need to see and support. And they gotta download the app.
100%.
100%, 110%. No, I appreciate that. It means a lot. And, you know, part of that management style is that there's a lot of people that I have to manage and I can't micromanage.
Yeah.
But even if I could, I wouldn't, because I want to let, you know, the experts handle it, because I'm not an expert on anything. I think I know a lot about all the genres, but I'm not an expert in any of them. And you know, you have to let people do what they do and give them the freedom to make those decisions and also learn on a job. I mean, just like we all always do. You know, that's how you're going to learn, is by doing, I think. So giving people the freedom to do that and will ultimately result in better work. And I think all the other managers and other people at Audiomack who manage people have a similar philosophy. And I think that's what you have to do, especially in the music business, is to, you know, do what you said, put more into what you expect to get out of it. And so far that strategy has been working out for us.
Yeah, I also want to take the opportunity to thank both of you, because I'm technically still a newbie in this industry, and you both gave me the chance to do what I love. And I feel like that's what Audiomack is all about. You not only give opportunity to artists to show their creativity, you do that as well with your employees. And I think that's the beauty of everyone that works at Audiomack. We're first and foremost music fans, and that's why we're passionate about what we do. So thanks to both of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. You do a great job.
Yeah, you've earned every penny here for sure. Yeah, you guys are doing a great job with this podcast. You know, we got more work to do.
Yeah, we definitely do.
But the more you do podcasts, the better you get at them. And I already see you guys getting a lot better, and making the guests feel comfortable, and getting them to answer the questions in a way that's going to help the viewer. Many of the viewers who are artists or who are in the music industry, and I hope that people learn a thing or two. I've learned a lot from podcasts. I would learn a lot from this podcast if I understood Spanish better.
Actually, he's trying to learn it, and he's doing it with an app. And you know the app ain't really doing shit.
But it's okay, I'm helping him. So he's actually been practicing a lot on this trip, and he's been doing great.
Prueba mi mejor.
Okay.
You know, you got to just, same with like this job, or even as an artist who might be like, I've never performed in front of this many people, or I've never done this type of music video or this type of song. You just got to do it. And you know, I took that same approach with language learning, and so far have not done that great.
You're getting better. You're getting better.
It's slow, right? And as long as you keep working at it, I think you'll see results, and we'll see what happens in La Futura.
Everybody, I want you to follow Pani on Instagram because it's weak.
No, on Twitter.
On his Instagram, which is DC Ponte. And you can also follow us, Audiomack Latin, on Instagram, Twitter, and all that good stuff. And I'm happy to have you on this podcast.
Thanks for having me. It's been great chatting like this.
Dope.
Yeah.
Ya saben, esto es Otro Nivel Podcast. Hasta la próxima.
Peace out.